Everybody, welcome back to another edition of God Made Millionaire TV. And I've been waiting all week for you, yes you, to show up and watch this show tonight. And what a show we've got lined up for you tonight. We're going to start out with Miss Pamela Mumm. Pamela is a powerful, incredible business leader. She's also the founder of Harmonic Performance. Pamela has a powerful message to share with the nations. You've got to listen to this powerful message. And without any further ado, let's crack open the vault and let's get this show started. Pamela Mumm, welcome to the show.
Thank you, TC.
I tell you what, Pamela, I am so excited to have you on set on the show today. Thank you for agreeing to come.
Absolutely. I can't believe that I'm here. I am part of God Made Millionaire TV
Right.
with TC Bradley.
Isn't that amazing?
It's awesome.
I tell you what, you have an incredible call on your life. Just for a way of introduction for the people at home, tell the people at home a little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
Yeah, so my name is Pamela Mumm. I live in Dubuque, Iowa, and I am up to helping people figure out that they have something unique that needs to come into the world. Like, we cannot be afraid of who we are and the message that God has put on our heart, and we have to walk boldly in that. And we have to do that together. And that's what we're here to talk about.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit more about the harmonic leadership or performance.
Yeah. So performance is action, period, right? Like, if we're going to perform, we have to get into action. And so being able to get into action with what God put in us is when we find our life just fulfilled. Like, we are alive, we're vibrant, we're resonating with what's going on. We're able to make space for other people and realize that we become better when we connect. And that's what harmonic performance is all about. Before that, I was a music teacher. I've been in music since I was 2 years old. You know, I was a singer, I was dancing. I ended up teaching high school music for 20 some years.
Now, you know, I'm known to take it to the South Side on this show every now and then. You know that, right?
I do.
Okay.
Well, I haven't taken it to the South Side, so if you feel moved to do that,
All right.
Let's go.
All right. I'm all chips in, baby. Let's go.
So, but as a high school music teacher, I always thought I wanted kids to know that they were going to go into the world and be amazing adults. So in my classroom, they were going to learn to sing and they were going to learn to dance, but more importantly, they were going to learn how to be amazing individuals and contribute to the world. And so I started doing a lot of the work that I do now with high school kids.
Wow.
And I get it, right? When your success, when your purpose in life is in the hands of others, my success, my life's work was in the hands of 14-year-olds. And it was amazing.
Wow.
And now I work with adults that their life's purpose is in the hands of other adults.
How did you make that transition from teacher, which I believe the teachers in our country, these are heroes, unsung heroes in our country. How did you transition your life from a teacher to a highly in-demand coach now, helping people activate their God-given dreams? How did you do that?
So I had been using John Maxwell. I had been using a lot of his material with my students. And I actually wrote to John Maxwell and said, if you are ever looking for somebody to work with you, I would love to apply. Well, 6 months later, he started an actual coaching program. And so I got the email 2 days later, I had written my resignation and I became a founding member of the John Maxwell training team. And from then on, it was, okay, I'm in, burn the boats. I got it, God, I'm going. And that's what happened.
And yet, it had to be hard on some respects because of the impact that you were having on your students, right? Because I don't think teachers do it necessarily for the money.
No.
Is that right? So they don't do it for the money. Your impact is so profound Because even now, the reason I sit here in front of you and in front of you is because I had teachers that were incredible, had incredible influence over my life. So that impact that they had in my life, you were having that, and to leave that had to be so challenging.
It was, especially because they were great. I loved my students. I loved what we were doing. We were performing at, I took a group to Carnegie Hall. We were performing. They were succeeding. And to say, oh, wow, this is really good. And there's something else, right? A lot of people leave because it's bad. It's harder to leave when it's good. But when God puts something on your heart, you say yes and you go. And you know that you're going to be protected. And it's not going to be easy. I think I shared with you, there was a day when I was crying in my basement. Like, I had this really secure job. We were successful. The kids were inspired and we were doing all this great work. And I looked at my computer and I had $36 to my name and I had to figure out, what have I done to myself? And there was that moment of, oh, that's right. You said yes to what God put on your heart, but you're half-heartedly doing what God put on your heart. Go, commit, be free, step in, be powerful.
I think there are people that would beg to differ with you a little bit because you put the resignation in, but after you took the action, you're saying that there was inaction.
Yes.
You were in it half-heartedly. Take me into that situation.
Yeah, because that was who am I to think that I could do this?
The deserve issue.
Yes. And who am I to think that I actually heard God correctly? Like, what if that wasn't God? What if that was actually Satan getting in there and tricking me? And because there was a moment of why God would never intend me to have this life where I am so insecure and I'm sitting here and I'm crying and I'm wondering, am I even capable? Do I have the capacity? What do I have to offer to the world? And then there was that moment where it was like, oh, that's right. He's been there the whole time. The only one that wasn't showing up was me. I wasn't showing up for my own life.
Wow.
And that moment changed everything.
So it was a defining moment in your life.
Yeah.
Now, talk a little bit about, for people listening at home, what that is, the harmonic performance.
Yeah, so it's really it's helping people figure out that what they contribute to the world matters. And if we're going to make the world better, then we have to make ourselves better.
Starts with us.
It starts with us always. And then we influence everybody around us. And so harmonic performance is saying, like, instead of me recommending to you, here's a podcast you need, TC, or here's a book, and by the way, I've highlighted some things, pay close attention.
Right.
That it's saying, no, join this with me. Like, let's go through and you work on you and I'll work on me, and the rising tide lifts all ships. And as we do that, we make space for everyone in our world to be at their best.
Right.
But I can't make you anything.
Right.
I can only make me, and I can make space for you to be amazing. Right.
It's a different viewpoint in business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different viewpoint in business because for me, I think, it's always been business as a combat sport.
Yes.
For me, I like to be the very best at what I do.
Yes.
If I'm going to do anything in my life, my dad always used to tell me, son, I don't care if you're a garbage man for the rest of your life, but I do care that you're the best garbage man. You be the best that you can be, which is what your message is. But I think in business, you're bringing a different slant to this in business, in leadership, and in performance, talking about you don't have to be competitive in business. Is that right?
100%. Like, whenever, in my view of the world, whenever we compete, it means I'm now against you.
Right.
But whenever, I love this idea of you live a verb, right? Like, live the verb. And the verb is God created, right? The very first verb is create. And so whenever we're with somebody, when we can tap into what God is doing in us and you, and then we begin to create, now we have something that did not exist until our lives blended. And that's powerful.
Right.
I love that.
Well, I love it too. That's amazing. Who's your ideal coaching client? Who do you really appeal to?
I appeal to people who have a bigger desire Like they know that work is not supposed to be suffering. It's not supposed to be terrible to go to work. It's actually supposed to be fun and enjoyment because we're bringing something into the world that serves other people. And so when we can start to get out of our own way and begin to create that and have fun at work, then those are the people that want to work with me.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to look into that camera at home, and I want you to speak your truth to over 200 nations. Right there, this message that God has given you, speak your truth to those 200 nations.
My truth is that there is an intelligence in this world that is far greater than any of us. And when we step into that intelligence, the world gets better. And there's room for every single one of us. No doubt. And that means every one of us. Like nobody was created to be small. Nobody was created to be insignificant. And the moment that we all figure that out, the human race becomes incredible.
You know, Pamela, I'm ready to sing a song. I'm ready to go out off the set and tackle something. You got me so jacked up and so excited. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Will you come back and see me?
Absolutely. Thank
All
you,
right,
TC.
Pamela.
It was so good.
Next up on set is my good friend, Mr. Richard Flint. Richard Flint is known around the world as the man who wrote the book on human behavior. So, without any further ado, let's head to the set right now and meet my good friend, a powerful man of God who has inspired millions of people in his career, Mr. Richard Flint. Richard Flint, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Well, listen, the honor is mine and our show listeners. Such an honor and a privilege to have somebody like you, a legend in your space on our show. And you know what, Richard? I believe God has anointed and appointed you for this hour that we live in, because I'm looking at your book, Behavior Never Lies. On the back it says about the author, and this sticks out to me. Richard Flint is one of those unique people who have been given the ability to see the clarity in the midst of what looks confusing. I think it's going without saying, Richard, that we're in some confusing times right now.
Well, we are. And the confusion that we're facing today is a result of us removing God from the center of who we are. Everywhere you and I look, the things that represent God, are just slowly being erased. And somehow, some way, we've got to get the message across that God is alive. He's well, He's working, He's active. But to do that, we're going to have to raise the voice and become a voice that, through presence, is stronger than the voice of Satan that is out there and alive today.
How does one do that, Richard? How does one make their voice heard? Because I think with the advent of social media in our lifetime, right? I came on Facebook kicking and screaming, right? Because I said I'm old school. And I think people have a voice, but how do you use that voice correctly, I guess? What would be the right way to do that?
Well, one of the things you and I have to understand is that in life, there are only two foundations that people can build their life on. They build their life on their belief in God first and self second. They build their life in trusting in God. And from that belief and that trust in ourself, then we have the faith. And the faith is what gives us the strength to step out. TC, when I live in a world of belief, I have calmness. When I live in a world of trust, I have clarity. And when I live in a world of faith, I have confidence. And when you put those three together, you can't stop me. But what happens is that most people don't live on that foundation. They live on a foundation that's guided by doubt. And It's interesting when you look at doubt because doubt makes us skeptical.
Right.
And skepticism is a prison because it doesn't allow you to look at life from the inside out. You're looking at life from the outside in. And every day that I look from the outside in, it's going to cost me my belief.
Right.
And you can't doubt without having worry. And worry is another paralyzing disease. Because when I live with worry, I increase my anxiety. My very first book that I wrote was on the truth about stress. And it was a stressful book to write. Well, when I was doing the research, I found 127 different definitions to the word stress. And all of them were either too long or too technical. So I wrote my own definition of stress, which is anything in life that makes you uptight. So if I don't have trust, I'm going to replace it with worry.
Right.
And as anxiety grows, the stress grows. And I don't think in my lifetime I've seen the level of stress that I'm seeing in our society today. And stress is a disease. It can kill you.
Stress is a huge killer in our country, in our world.
Well, it's my basic belief that if you take a look at the human being, that a big part of the major illnesses that we face in this world that people deal with, like cancer, I think is the result of stress.
Right.
Because you put doubt and worry together, and then you get uncertainty. And uncertainty is a behavior that allows us to procrastinate. And procrastination is another very dangerous behavior. And what I see in people in my years of working with human behavior is that most people spend their life in the world of doubt, worry, and uncertainty.
Right. I believe that one of the reasons that this show is so successful is because right before your very eyes, we have people that come on that God has given an assignment, a purpose to, and they're activating their God-given purpose and assignment right before your very eyes. I believe there's nothing more powerful in the universe, in the world, than a man or a woman walking in their purpose. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Because once I know my purpose, I can have a clear agenda. If I don't know my purpose, I can't have a clear agenda. If I don't have a clear agenda, I'm always running into myself. I'm always colliding with myself. I live in confusion. I struggle with life. And the agenda is where I set the process and the plan for my life. And then the thing I got to do, I got to commit to it.
Right.
And when I commit to it, I tie 3 D's to it. It's my desire, it's my determination, and I'm going to tie those 2 together with the discipline that says, God, you help me hold my feet to the fire. Because as strong as I am, there's still times when Satan throws doubt at me.
Take us to a defining moment of your life. What was a moment in your life that you can now look back at and you say, that moment in time was the moment that everything changed in my life?
TC, when I was 16, my adopted parents gave me a suitcase and told me it was nice knowing me. And I have physically been on my own since I was 16. And that created so much emotionalism within me. When I was a sophomore in college, I made the decision I had to confront my mom and dad. I had to figure out what was happening, because I believe anything you don't confront, you validate. And so I drove to my mom and dad's home, and my dad hugged me. My mother took one look at me, walked out the back door, got in her car, and drove off. And at that moment, God sent me a time of clarity where he said, Richard, you've been living your life to prove to your mother that you're not what she thinks you are. My mother told me every day I was stupid, I'd never do anything in my life, and my mother would look me in the eyes and tell me, I'm sorry we ever adopted you. And you know this as well as I do, messages that are given kids, stay with them. But when she walked out that back door, got in her car and drove off, she freed me, because I realized nothing that I could do with my life was going to change her opinion. And at that moment, I was set free. And I realized, this is my life. I mean, this is who I am. And if people get to know me, I am probably the most self-confident person you'll ever meet in your life. I throw parties, and I'm the only one I invite. God, they're great parties.
Yeah.
You should hear the conversations.
Great.
But that was freedom for me.
Right.
And in that moment, I gathered a picture of myself that has become the crusade that I'm on. Not a ministry to me, it's not a mission, it's a crusade. Because a crusade is where you make a lasting difference. A mission is a moment. But a crusade has continuation to it.
Wow. Wow. You know, Richard, we're about out of time, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to speak your message to over 200 nations right now that are tuning in all across the world. At such a time as this, God has raised you up and just given you this platform to speak a word right now of clarity to people, of inspiration. Listen, talking to that camera at home and just speak your truth. Take your time and speak that word if you don't mind.
TC, the truth is just so clear. You have a choice. It's your life. And you're either going to design your life or you're going to give your life to someone else and you're going to become an actor in their play. And the difference between those two is the foundation you choose for your life. You believe in God, you believe in yourself. You trust in God, you trust in yourself. You have the faith that there's a purpose for your life. Or you're going to doubt God, doubt yourself. You're going to worry about things in your life you shouldn't worry about. And you're going to be paralyzed by uncertainty. And by the way, if you can figure out another foundation other than those two, you let me know. They're the only two that I've seen in life. It's your life, your choice, your design, and you're going to live it.
Wow. Richard Flint, will you come back and see me?
Anytime.
All right. Thank you so much. Everybody, can you believe we are at the end of another Power Pack show? And what a show we had tonight. And do I ever have a word burning within me for somebody that is watching in this show this night? You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's a true story about two men that were living in a cave. They were scavengers for their daily meal. Living in a cave every day was an uncertain day in their life. Unbeknownst to them, their grandmother passes away. Their grandmother was worth $6.2 billion. That's with a B, $6.2 billion. They were heirs to a $1 billion fortune. It seemed that their mother, they had outs with their mother. Their mother wanted nothing to do with these brothers living in the cave. But when their grandmother passed away, they became heirs to a $6.2 billion fortune. Overnight, they were billionaires in that cave. Now, my question to you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is when did they become billionaires? When did those two brothers that were living busted, disgusted, and couldn't be trusted, living, scraping for aluminum to eat their daily meal, one day they are billionaires? When did they become a billionaire? I present to you that they became billionaires when they got up and left the cave. They left what they knew, the safety and the comfort of that cave. It was easier for them to stay in that cave. They wouldn't be hurt in the cave. No one would make fun of them in the cave. It was all that they knew. It was their comfort zone. But how many of you know that your comfort zone is your failure zone? There are some of you watching the show tonight. You've been hiding out in the cave. You've been licking your wounds in the cave from a failed partnership, a failed marriage that didn't go right by somebody that did you wrong. and you've been in that cave and you're comfortable, but you're busted, you're disgusted, and you can't be trusted, but you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight that God is calling you out of the cave into your rightful inheritance. But it's going to take courage. It's going to take guts for you to leave the comfort and the security of that cave. But if you're ever going to walk in what God has for you, you're going to have to leave the safety and the comfort of that cave. Come out of that cave. Now is not the hour to stay in the cave. The world needs to hear from you. The world needs to hear your voice. There are songwriters, there are authors, there are empire builders, and you're stuck in the cave. And I'm here to tell you tonight, and I'm declaring upon your life, it is time. It is your time. It is your season to come out of the cave. Come out of that cave and walk in your inheritance that your God has waiting for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it here. My producers are telling me I'm about out of time, but we don't leave this show without throwing our shades on and doing our prosperity dance. Even if you're in the cave tonight, get you a pair of shades, get you some attitude, throw those shades on, and hit your prosperity music this week. Big Mike, hit my music.
Inside the heart of each and every one of us lies a dream, a purpose we were put here on this planet to fulfill, a God-given mission. And when we tap into it, God will unleash unbelievable blessings over our lives, from our family to our finances. T.C. Bradley's new book, God Made Millionaire, will help you bring the abundant riches of the kingdom to all aspects of your life. Order God Made Millionaire today.
If you have been given a God-given dream, now you can wear the most powerful success and prosperity shirt on the planet. Our federally trademarked God-Made Millionaire t-shirt and hoodies. Thou shalt decree and thing, and it shall come to pass is one of the most powerful spiritual laws for activating prosperity and success in your life. And now you can order your very own God-Made Millionaire shirt and wear this powerful success and prosperity decree. God-Made Millionaire TV host T.C. Bradley designed and trademarked these shirts just for himself to wear. But now he's making them available to you, his faithful members of the God Made Millionaire TV Nation. TC wrote his 3 best-selling books and signed the deal for his nationally syndicated TV show while wearing his God Made Millionaire shirts. Our shirts and hoodies are high quality and super soft and can be ordered right now from our GodMadeMillionaire.com website. God Made Millionaire Nation, it's time for you to activate your God-given dream in a big way. Go to GodMadeMillionaire.com and order your official trademarked God Made Millionaire swag right now. These are the hottest success and prosperity shirts on the planet. Again, go to GodMadeMillionaire.com and order your official trademark God Made Millionaire swag right now.